Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I hope and pray you all had a wonderful Thanksgiving and you had time to relax, sit back and just enjoy your family and friends. So I am coming in today. If you remember a couple weeks ago I talked about that I was doing a pattern test and it's a good one. So I am here to share with you all of the details and show you my tester and my finished version of this garment. But first of all, welcome to all my new subscribers. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I greatly appreciate it. And if you haven't subscribed, what are you waiting for? Go ahead and subscribe and hit the like button. And don't forget to hit the bell also, so you get a notification of my next upload. So first of all, what am I wearing? My costume jewelry, of course. Y'all know I like that. But I am wearing the cashmere what is this? The cashmere Turner dress, and I have done a complete sew along on my channel. I will leave that up here on the iCard and you can go back and check that out. Also, if you cannot tell, it is of course Christmas season, and what I did was put up, do you all remember last year when I made the advent calendar? I did a live. I made this advent calendar, and so we are not doing that this year. I actually bought something else for us, some chocolates from Chalk Zero, but I figured why not have it up in my background during the next, you know, several weeks for the Christmas season, and so I decided to display it here. And so yeah, but anyway, let's get into the pattern test. Now this is a super easy one, super duper easy. Vanessa, as you know, all own and is the designer behind the Kosedo Studios, and she has the Luna Peplum circle top, and it is unlined, which means it is super easy to make. First of all, I am familiar with Kosedo Studios because, as you all know, I had pattern tested this dress here, the Lima dress, and so yeah, beautiful dress, fully. Now the bodice on the Lima is fully lined. This one is not lined, and this one does not have the puff sleeves. If you remember, for the Lima dress it has the puff sleeves. So yeah, you just definitely want, if you want something a little bit different, you can do the Lima dress with the puff sleeves, or if something a little bit more conservative maybe, then you can go ahead and go with the Luna. But you will notice in my tester pictures that my sleeve is just a little bit puff, but I'll tell you all about that shortly. Let's get into the details on this pattern. And quick side note, the Luna top is the pattern for actually on Kosedo Studio, 30% off for Cyber this weekend, this whole holiday weekend, you know, the Black Friday and all of that, and Cyber Monday, 30% off. So make sure, if you want this pattern, go ahead and grab it now for 30% off. Why not? I will leave the link to the website and everything, all of the information in the description box, but 30% off, you want to grab it. Now you say, is that a PDF pattern or a printed pattern? It's a PDF pattern. And guess what? PDF plotting is running 20% off. If you follow me on Instagram, if you follow my community tab here on YouTube, and you follow me over there on Facebook, I posted this because this is rare. Rarely, if ever, do PDF plotting do sales, and they are running 20% off on printing. Now your other question might be, I'm scared to print. I don't know how to print. How do you print from PDF plotting? I got you covered. I have a video. Check the iCard. I'll leave it in the iCard and in the description box down below. How do you order from PDF plotting? And in my video, I show you how to save just a couple extra pennies, because it'll, depending on what PDF patterns you need to print, if they have a US copy version or a zero version, you may be able to save some money depending on the file type that you have. So watch my video. Go ahead and do that, because the sale for PDF plotting ends December 3rd. So you do have a couple days. But you just want to take your time, watch that video. You need to order your Luna Peplum top and send it to PDF plotting to print if you're here in the US. If you're abroad, I don't know if there are any sales abroad, but here in the US, go ahead and grab it. So let's get into this pattern review. Okay, sizing. So yes, I admit, let me just full disclosure up front, for those who might be newer to my channel, I am on a weight loss journey, and so some of my sizing and different things have shifted over the past several weeks. And so for me, the sizing changed ever so slightly from the Lima dress. So I want to say for the Lima, her sizing is the same in both patterns. And so she has a high bust. She has measurements in imperial and inches, but I'm sorry, centimeters and inches. And so she has high bust measurement, small bust, medium, and full bust. I always use the full bust. I use the full bust measurements on the Lima dress, and I use the full bust on this dress as well. And so the sizing, and I'll pop up the chart too, but the sizing for the Luna Peplum starts in a C. So she has categories A, B, and C. I'm in the C category, and because that's a different size range, and it goes from a full bust of 50.5 inches up to 56.75 inches, which is really good. So my Lima dress, I want to say I went from a size, and it goes from C0, C2, C4, C6, C8. And so in the C size category, you have those different size range. So the 0 is a 50.5, and the 8 is a 56.75. And so in the Lima, I went from the, I want to say it was from the either was the C2, C4 to the C8. For the Luna, I graded this time from a C0, which is a 50.5 inch full bust. My full bust is actually 50 right now, just slightly under actually, if I'm honest. And then I graded out to a waist of C6, which is the 45 waist, and hip 56. And my intentions, I do apologize in advance, my intentions was to show all of that. But if you all remember my video a couple weeks ago, when I was doing the pattern test in that final garment, I was also in jury duty. I was serving jury duty all that week, so I wasn't home. And then I got, you know, I had all this work to do for my day job, and so I really didn't have time to record that part where I graded out. But I've shown so many times, probably even in my Turner dress video. I know I've shown it in my Upton Cashmere Sew Along, how I grade between sizes, and so and how I redraw the line and make sure everything from the waist down and the hip is connecting. So go watch any of my sew alongs. I usually always share, if I'm making adjustments like that, how I make those adjustments, but I'm not sharing that in this video. So I do apologize, but yeah, I had so much going on when this pattern test happened. So that is the sizing. So a nice size inclusive range for you. And I will say, so far as the instructions, now as a pattern tester, as I've said before, and I'll actually pop up, this is my test garment. As a pattern tester, what you're doing, she actually had this pattern out before. It's just re-released with some updates and some changes and tweaks she made to the pattern. And so she asked for some testers, and so I gladly jumped on board because I love Vanessa. She is absolutely so sweet. But here's my tester version, and I'll pop up some pictures. But let me explain to you what I was doing. I wanted to make sure, because I did grade between that C0 and to this the C0 to the C6. I wanted to make sure everything was sitting right in this front part. The front, these princess seams here, as well as and I'm not showing you on the regular one because I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but on the back princess seams, that's what I was most concerned about, because I wanted to make sure I got the grading right and everything like that. And so I'll pop up some of my pictures from this tester version, and it fit beautifully. I didn't put the sleeves on at the time. I will say, as a tester, one of the things that you're doing is making sure you're looking at the instructions, just making sure the flow and everything's making sense as you're sewing it up. the different maybe tips they've added throughout the pattern, and Vanessa is always really good about that, adding little tips and different things like that, illustrations. You're making sure all of that makes sense with the written word of the pattern, which is really good. And then of course the most important thing is, based off your size and measurements, after you've done what you needed to do, that it actually fits the way that it's supposed to fit. And so it did go through a couple iterations, and the final version is out. My final version, I'll explain to you in a moment about my final version, but all updates have been made and everything, so you have no worries. But the muslin part of the process, there were a few updates that she did need to make to the pattern, and some changes and everything after she got all of the different testers feedback and everything, which is really good. So that's another thing I love about Vanessa. She does take the feedback really seriously, and she makes sure that she is incorporating the different things that everybody have mentioned. And I will say, for at least because she had this out before and then there was a re-release, I want to say there might not have been as many updates as I think there was for the Lima, because the Lima was new. But at any rate, so it's all set and ready to go. So far as the level for sewing this, I would say this is, I want to say it's a step above beginner, only because it does have a zipper in the back. But guess what? This is unlined, so it's not hard to put in the zipper. It calls for an invisible zipper, because what I had in my stash at the time was not an invisible zipper. I used a regular zipper. So if you have to use a regular zipper because that's what you have, or if that's what you're more comfortable with sewing with, no hard and fast rules. Use a regular zipper. You don't have to use the invisible. I'll show you mine with pictures and video here shortly. But also you will notice, and I'll show you in my final, you will notice the Luna Peplum is a long sleeve. And I won't say long sleeve. It goes to maybe this more three-quarter length sleeve, so it's not all the way to the wrist, and is higher than bracelet length. So I will say it's probably more three-quarter length sleeve for this. And but because I didn't have enough fabric, and I will be talking about the fabric in just a moment, I end up shortening my sleeves to about as much fabric as I can get out of it. So mine is not short sleeve, it's right above my elbow. So far as the instructions, everything is so easy to put together. Make sure, because remember, when you're doing these princess seams, you have to clip into those curves to allow for those seams to lay nicely and get a good press on them. Make sure you are pressing everything as you go, because very important with these princess seams. And that's the other thing, when you are, make sure you do your muslin first. I always say that for stuff like this, make sure you do your muslin first, because even though you have the princess seams, and you usually, some, depending on your sizing and everything where you at, you might be able to just get away with pinching out just a little bit in those princess seams in the front or back to get, you know, the maximum fit without doing any bust adjustments or anything like that. So do your muslins first, so you know. And that's why, again, I wanted to make sure the grading was all good. It does have facing pieces, so you have your front facing pieces and your back facing pieces, which went in beautifully. The thing I wanted to show you is my little trick. I learned this from Tip Stitch here on YouTube. But I did do my little facing trick for this. I'll show you that in a moment. But let me switch to my final version, which is this. Absolutely love it. If you all remember, I said I was going to add trimming to this. I had bought the trim, showed you the trim, I think in one of my haul videos. I decided not to use the trim because although, let me hold this up closely. Can you see this? This is a leaf print, very, very dainty leaf print. And so initially I thought, I had to focus, I thought I wanted to do the trim on this, because I was going to do the trim around the sleeve and then around the hem. But I was like, no, because, you know, from a distance, you can't necessarily see the print or the design in there. I don't know, for whatever reason, maybe I thought that this was much larger, the spacing, so you could see more of the white. And I was going to add that trim, but I can always save that for another project. But let me tell you about this fabric. This fabric is a Minerva fabric. So this was sent to me in exchange for a blog post. So I will be posting a link. I do have I'll be talking about this on the Sewing Buzz. So make sure you stay tuned for Tuesdays and Wednesday video. Tuesday is the Sewing Buzz. I'll be talking about a whole heck of a lot. And then Wednesday will be my comfy cowl that I was supposed to show you today. But anyway, I will link to my profile on Minerva.com. I will have up, it's not up at the time of this video. It may or may not be. If it is, I'll link directly to it down below. If it is not, no, it should be up. It should be up. But anyway, this is a leaf print in blue cotton poplin. And so just so you know, it is an affiliate link. So anything that I do share for the fabric for Minerva, we do get a commission on it, just so you know. You don't have to use the link. But this is a leaf print in the blue cotton poplin. And so it is absolutely beautiful. It was really nice to work with. When I received it initially, this was supposed to be the husband's another button up. But I was like, I didn't know how he would necessarily, even though you can't really tell, and he couldn't really tell the design that much. Once he got to investigating it, I was like, no, I better just use it for a top. But anyway, so I'll pop up some pictures here, but let me show you the inside real quick of my what I do to the facing. So for the facing, see, in most patterns when you add facing, it always calls for you to serge this edge, or it'll ask you to bind the edge. Binding is an option, but as you'll be able to see here, I just use the facing and fold it over the facing, fused it together, then folded it over, so this is a nice clean finish. And so I did that for the front. Let me show you. I did that for the front and the back facing pieces. So that's how I finish. I try to remember. Sometimes I'm in a rush, but I try to remember to finish my facing pieces so they look really nice and clean. And the facings do, of course, like most facings, you anchor them to the shoulder seams and everything. And of course, it's anchored in the back by the zipper, so it doesn't flop around or anything like that. But this is the final version. I will pop up some pictures here because you really can't see it here. I love the way it fit. I actually paired it this particular day with my cashmere Ella skirt. And so that skirt has been paired with quite a few things, by the way. But anyway, I paired it with the Ella skirt and it just turned out beautiful. I love the fit. I think it fits very well. I will say, let me get to the sleeve. So here's the sleeve. You will notice in the video and in the pictures that mine is a little gathered at the top. Well, there was an adjustment made when our final was due, because this is the final. There was a bicep piece. She added a full bicep piece onto the pattern. So she wanted us to make sure that it worked. And so I did not need the room in my bicep. And so for me, there was the extra room at the sleeve head, so I just gathered it in up at the top, and it looks so pretty. It looks really pretty. And so yeah, love the way it turned out. Here's the zipper. Like I said, I didn't have an invisible zipper, but I had a white zipper. So I just used the white zipper and put that in the back. And so, yeah, I love the way that it turned out. So thank you again, Vanessa, for allowing me to test. It's a beautiful top. And you all know for the Lima, I had talked about, oh, I want to do that in a top version because my tester version of the Lima was as a top. And I showed you guys all that behind the scenes. And as a matter of fact, it's probably in that video where I showed you how to grade the princess seams. At any rate, I'll link above, below, whatever, and you can go back and check that out. But I don't have to do that now. I can just do the Luna top because I actually really like the way, I think I told you I had never made a peplum before, a woven peplum or a knit. And so I like the way it looks on me. And so now I have a peplum top pattern, and I will be making this again. You all will learn more about that here very shortly. But yeah, that is it. Make sure you take advantage of her 30% off. Again, I'll link it down in the description box below, and make sure if you need to order from PDF Plotting, you take advantage of that 20% off. I'll leave the link. You got the coupon. I popped that up here, but also I'll leave my video down below. If you haven't ordered from PDF Plotting, make sure you watch that video first, because you have until December 3rd. But grab these deals, and yeah, so stay tuned for Tuesday, December 1st is the sewing buzz. I have a lot that's been buzzing around, so I will be sharing that on Tuesday. And then the comfy cowl that I was going to share with you today from Rebecca Page Patterns, I'll be sharing that on Wednesday. So make sure that you stay tuned for the videos this week. Again, if you have not subscribed, please subscribe. Make sure that you're following me over on my website. You do get a free download if you're interested. You don't have to get the download, but subscribe to the website, because there are some things I share over there I do not talk about here on the channel every now and again, and I do not share on Instagram or Facebook. And also follow me over there on Instagram and Facebook if you haven't already. All right, everybody, if you have any questions, definitely let me know. All links to fabric, everything will be down in the description box. And so yeah, we will see you on Tuesday. Have a blessed week. Bye.